Welcome to 3D Movie Cinema, the only show that's three dimensions away from Supergirl being called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I'm your host, 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Supergirl, released in 2026. Supergirl is directed by Greg Gillespie and written by Anna Nagoria, and stars Millie Alcock, Matthew Shonowitz, Eve Ridley, David Kermaholtz, Emily Betcham, David Cornsweet, and Jason Momoa. The movie is essentially a movie about a Supergirl who, after, she just hasn't found her purpose on Earth, so she goes around just getting drunk. It's like her birthday week and everything, and so she just goes around getting drunk all week long and everything and partying down, and her dog Crypto is along with her and everything, and it's a sequel to Superman. It takes place after Superman, and so it's just her partying on her birthday week and everything until a little girl comes along and basically is looking for a mercenary to kill a Crim of the Yellow Hills who killed her parents and burned down her house. And so, of course, Supergirl unwittingly becomes that hero. It's kind of, think of it like Logan, okay? It's more like Logan, but with like a more Guardians of the Galaxy feel. That's the best way to describe it. Because I really did enjoy this movie. I think, honestly, this movie, it possibly could be a top contender for best movie of the summer. Like, it is a contender. I don't think it is a bad movie at all. I do have some issues with this movie, but I don't think the issues outweigh the outcome of the movie of what I think and view of the film. Because I do think this movie is, probably going to be in the top 5 of the favorite movies of the summer, in my opinion. I do like this movie a lot. One thing I thought was Millie Alcock. I thought the casting for everybody in the movie was perfectly casted. I thought Millie Alcock was great. I thought Jason Momoa as Lobo was fantastic. I thought Matthew Shonowitz as Crim of the Yellow Hills, I thought he did a good job. I mean, he is a little bit underdeveloped as a villain because when he just shows up, he's just like, we don't have a lot of backstory to his character. And I think that's kind of some of the negatives I feel about this movie is like some of the characters you don't just know about them. Like, for instance, I read the book, Woman of Tomorrow, and I think it tells more of his backstory in that book than it does in this entire film. And I understand they did cut 30 minutes from the movie, and so I'm wondering if in that 30 minutes, that was probably what, we got more of in this movie. And I kind of would like to see that in this movie. I would like to see an extended cut of this movie or some deleted scenes that explain some stuff. I did enjoy the little girl. I thought she was great. I thought her backstory, she was actually a fun character. She's like, she's not like a character that's just a damsel. She says she wants to really get revenge. It kind of reminded me of Batman Forever, how Robin wants to kill Two-Face so bad and everything. And so Batman is like telling me, it's going to change you, okay, once you get the thirst for blood. And they even kind of did that in Deadpool too. So I get that, that's like a trope. It's where, like they want like the younger character that wants to get revenge for the death of their family. They want to kill, this person, and you got the hero that's going to tell them not to, because then, and of course, which I understand. I will say, and the trope is always the hero has to kill that person to spare the character from killing, which I'm like, I always hate that in every movie they do that, where it's like, oh, you can't kill them, but I'm going to kill them, I do like the story. I thought the story is very strong in this movie. I mean, the story, I will say Masters of the Universe has a stronger story, but I think this story is really good too. Because I don't think it's like bad at all. When I sat in this movie, because I was reading the reviews and there were mixed reviews for this movie, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this movie. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I thought the story was well done. I thought Jason Momoa as Lobo, he comes in at the perfect time. He's not in all of the movie. Like, I would say he is more, when it says and Jason Momoa, it means it. It's not like he's not the third lead, okay? Like, I would say the third lead, of course, is, the character of the Crim of the Yellow Hills. He's the third lead. And I do like Lobo when he's in this movie. Like, every time he shows up, I'm like, but he's not overly staying his welcome. I would say his screen time is about the same as Beetlejuice in the first Beetlejuice movie, or Beetlejuice in the first Beetlejuice movie. I would say that's how much screen time he has, and I think he does a good job as this alien bounty hunter, where everybody's scared of him and everything, and instead unless when Supergirl intervenes, and then he misses his bounty and he gets captured, and that's one thing I didn't like, that he got captured. I understand. But he's Lobo. Lobo would never get captured. That's some issue I had where, like, I thought Lobo everything else in the movie I liked, but him getting captured, I didn't like it. But I understand he's there to try to give a pep talk to his little girl, and they're trying to, like, to escape together. I get that, but I kind of just like wanted Lobo just to show up. I understand maybe that wouldn't have been as great, but I don't know. I just thought that was, I had a small nitpick on that. And I do like when we see in Krypton, like how Krypton gets destroyed and they put like in a bubble, and everything. And then, of course, because the kryptonite is making everyone sick, and then the dad gets radiation poisoning from the shield and everything, and they send the Supergirl. And Supergirl never gets sick, apparently, so she's fine. But he wanted to send his daughter before the virus spreads to her and everything. And I thought that was a really good, touching story. And seeing her get, and again, picked up by Superman, and then him, like, giving her a suit and everything. And yeah, that it does. That is such a heartwarming moment. I think that is a very strong moment. Her seeing her just in tears, seeing Crypt, her dad basically is like, okay, we're all gonna die on this little rubble. We thought we could save it, but the minerals is making us poisoned. So you're the last hope for us. You and your cousin. I thought that worked. Um, I thought David Krumholtz, I know he plays Bernard in the Santa Claus, but I love him as, the father. I thought he did a good job. Usually in the comics, Zor-El's like is an evil person that's kind of has evil intentions about Krypton. But I understand this mythology of this canon. He is aligned, more like he's more of the Jor-El figure, while Jor-El's more of the Zor-El figure who's aligned with Zod's ideology about being a conqueror. And I thought that was a unique take in this, this own canon, and I thought that was well. I will say this though, I love, the whole bus sequences with Supergirl and stuff. I thought that was worked well and everything. And then when she had to get the sun, and also whenever it turns the sun from a yellow sun to a kryptonite sun, that worked out well for me and everything. And I also like Seth Rogen's little cameo, like everything. Seth Rogen has a funny little cameo as an alien. I thought that was really cute. Um, I also liked, the whole fight sequence at the end. There is a needle drop at the end that plays like the end theme song from Sky High, where basically, but it's like a female version, kind of like when they did a cover for the George Michaels at the end of Deadpool 2. They do a female version cover of that song at the end from Sky High, and that song is like, it's when Supergirl's to fight the bad guys. And apparently Craig Gillespie confirmed in an interview that James Gunn's the one that chose that song because he needed a needle drop, and James Gunn was the one that suggested this one. And I do like at the end how she becomes like finds her purpose in the world. Like, okay, I have to be a savior, and she goes to Superman. David Corns, what has, I would say he doesn't have a lot of scenes. He has about like 3 scenes in the movie, so it's more of a cameo, like a smaller cameo. And so, but he's really great in the scenes he's in and everything. And I can't wait to see Supergirl in Man of Tomorrow. I do think that the movie very much is Guardians of the Galaxy heavy in tone. Like, it feels like the aliens look like they're from Guardians of the Galaxy. The, Supergirl feels like she's Star-Lord, but with superpowers. And she even has, like, she listens to her radio when she, when she doesn't want, like, wants to just tune out the world. That's some issues I had with the movie. I felt like that, and on top of that, the needle drops do not work in the movie. The only thing I thought worked in the movie was at the end with like that the Sky High that I thought was pretty fun, but I wish they would have played the original and made probably better. I do honestly wish that there was like there is 2 things that irked me in the movie. One is when Krypton, okay, their dad builds the pod and everybody's getting sick. Why doesn't he just build the pods and let's send his people out instead of his only daughter? Because he's like, okay, it doesn't work. Let's just send everybody to Earth. Or why doesn't he say, hey, I built enough room for me and you to both go? Instead, I understand people can say, well, he had radiation poisoning. What if he would have went to Earth and just died anyway? I mean, still, give that fighting chance. That's what at least I would have said, give him a fighting chance. He's going to die here. But I did, that's one issue I had. And one other issue I had was, okay, Supergirl is about to, could have, because like Lobo, she stops Lobo for killing this dude because she had a hostage. The bad guy had a hostage, and then Lobo was about to grab him, and then she stopped Lobo from doing that. And then, of course, Lobo could have got his kill. And then she stops Krim, the little girl, from killing Krim the first time. And then she could have literally stopped the whole rest of the movie. Everything else would have been fine if she just would have killed him right then and there. Instead, they had this whole have to free all the sex slaves. Yeah, because apparently Krim is collecting little girls to turn them into sex slave breeders, and that's really disgusting and gross. But I understand. I mean, that's the story. Okay, But like it's kind of, I thought that was gross. But yeah, we had to get that fight sequence at the end, especially in the dirt where like they're playing that slow motion fight scene, very Zack Snyder style 300 ish. And so I thought that was, that fight scene was great and everything. And she kills Krim at the end though, so it's like really at the end, and that's the trope that I hate in every movie. They always got to kill. Oh, you can't kill him, but I can, and kills him. And I'm just like, oh my god, really? You have to kill him, really? Like, I understand he's never gonna show up. It's not like he's gonna show up Man of Tomorrow or like Supergirl too, but like, come on. But I did really enjoy this movie. I do think this is a top contender for top five movies of the summer. I'm still waiting because I still have to see the other movies that are coming out. Still, Brand New Day and Odyssey and everything, and Evil Dead Burn and the end of Oak Street. But yeah, I do think this is a really good movie, and it might be in my top five of the year. It might be in top five of the summer. We'll see. But if I had to give this movie a grade, I'm gonna give it an A minus. Thank you so much.
Sharpton for president, y'all. I'm outie.
Jesse Jackson for VP.